Started. 1, 2, 3. Welcome to the Cafe Nightly Show. I am your host, Goldsmith. Today is the 5th of March, 2024, and it happens to be Tuesday. It happens to be another announcement day. Yesterday, we had Genesis Week 2024 live in-person announcement. Good the opportunity to come and talk with X1 about that. Tonight, I want to keep the trend going. We do have an announcement about our first ever transport in, private transportation only city in the game of Upland. There's no way to talk about a vanilla city other than to talk with Banana. We've done it in the past. I always like to get Banana on to have those conversations. So tonight, that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm bringing Banana on to have that conversation about the start of a new city, the start of new transportation travel into to Mint in the game of Upland, and that is going to be Lake Tahoe. We're going to be a little bit of travel into Lake Tahoe, and of course, as we do have that conversation, look at that announcement, some strategy, some little sprinkles along the way, maybe a little bit of speculation. Banana does all his things. He puts a lot of information out there. He's got a guide that's out there, but every once in a while, we can get him to say a couple of things to be helpful along our way. I'm going to sneak him in here, whether he's ready or not, because he looks ready to me. And then just get the disclosure out of the way right in front of both of us. So, you can look right at his face and mine and know that it's the case. All views and opinions expressed by myself are mine and mine alone. Should not be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the game or the team of Upland guests or contributors who are coming on. Same thing. No game strategy advice, no financial advice. Should be taken as, or should not be taken as coming from the game or the team of Upland. They don't necessarily represent myself or the Cafe Nightly Show, anything they have to say. But I love to hear them talk. So, Banana, you're here. You're live. You got a mustache and beard going. You look great, buddy. How are you doing today?
I'm alive. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. I'll take alive. We're going to pop the announcement up. We're going to take a look. But before we do, you're here for a reason, and obviously that is that
I'm here to see. Obviously, duh.
We're here to beard contest.
And yeah, of course. I mean, I lost, but
well,
worth a shot.
Give us some time. So we obviously do have the announcement of South Lake Tahoe. Before we do that, let's do the baby announcement, right? We got to do the baby announcement. Baby. Get the baby announcement out of the way. Here we go. I'm going to share screen so I can do the baby announcement and just say, here we go. Share that screen. Get the baby announcement up. Baby announcement obviously is this Tuesday. Tuesday means that we do get our drop for Frost.
I actually put on the new decor item.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's really cute.
Here, let's get this here. Where are we? We go back to here. Up in live updates. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Take a look at that dang drops.
Oh my god. Ooh. It's very cute though.
Frost Season Pass.
I have that background. The gold looks really cute, especially when you have the snow effect on. I actually kind of hope they keep these up because I don't mind paying a little bit for these little things.
Yeah, I mean, it is a way to represent yourself to the game. It's a way to interact with the game in a little bit different way. Obviously, Frost Season Bash. If you already get your badge, you already get your badge. There we go. Look at that. We got that out of the way. We got a chance to take a quick peek. We got a chance, if you're on and you're watching on YouTube, you got a chance to see. Hopefully, you already took a chance to see that earlier today. But obviously, our Frost Season Pass. I don't know what week we're on. What, 5 now? Week 5?
I think we're on week 5, yeah.
Yeah, week 5 drops. So those did happen today. And that just gives me the opportunity to get where we're going. And obviously, where we're going is the Lake Tahoe road trip. So,
oh my god,
we're headed that way. Lake Tahoe road trip. It's time to take a road trip to a all new city in Upland. South Lake Tahoe will be arriving in Upland Thursday, March 7th at 9 a.m. PT. The twist this time is that it's the first city accessible solely by vehicles. There will be no train. There will be no plane terminals, none whatsoever. Don't think you're going to buy a terminal this time around. This city will be dropping all at once with a massive 9 collections available. I don't think massive is the right word for 9 collections.
I mean,
Banana.
it's not. I mean, considering it's only 13,000 properties,
Oh
it's
wow.
actually not bad.
To scale of the properties, I'll agree with you. Keep in mind, Rutherford, we got what, 5?
No, we got 3 for 7,500, and that does not. There's no neighborhood collection. There's only 3 streets.
Okay. So I mean, I'll take it 9 on 13 and a half. So I've got no problem with that. But again, I just take umbrage with the language. Massive 9 collections available. So there's definitely going to be some hot competition to grab these spots. I'm gonna come back and say this later, but can we say Rutherford of the West? Just because it's
I'd say so. Yeah, 13,000 properties. I mean, Rutherford's still better in terms of size for treasure hunting, but it's definitely not bad.
Yeah, and the interesting thing too, worth noting, is it's gonna, from what we know so far, it's gonna be a pricier city than Rutherford. So we'll have to see how that plays into effect here. Obviously, offering a highly coveted pass for the release. These have been sold relatively well. These passes, people do take advantage of them. If
How
you
much are they
think
this time around? Are they $8, $10?
$5, $5,
Oh,
$5.
nice.
So I think they've been $5 all 3 times. What's interesting is you hold on to the pass afterwards. I've happened to have each one so far, so I think I'm going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to have to keep the passes going in case there's a collection, in case there's a reason why I want to have them all. Oh, we'll have to see. Upland, give me a little shiny or a little brass ring to reach for, and we'll see if I reach for it. And obviously here, a couple key things is if you buy that pass, 50% chance that you are going to fall into a collection. And they're doing this thing that we did in Tokyo again. 80% chance that you'll be able to fit a building on there. The building is going to be exclusive to the pass properties from those passes. So keep that in mind. That is going to be an incentive to buying the pass, is you get a property gets reserved for you. You get to mint 80% chance that you'll be able to build this unique structure on it. And now we have a reason for that unique structure. We want to get the 30 unique structures built, so we can get a little badge here for ourselves. Plus limited availability of properties for the entire city. There was sale with Block Explorers. There's a lot here. We're going to get into the full announcement. Sale with Block Explorers included to pick up some extra UPX prior to minting, and a return of the Mint Masters badge, which is fun. A giveaway that's just fun. And there's going to be a lot going on this release. Yeah, there will be. All right, let's take a look, Banana. When you took a look at this, obviously, South Lake Tahoe, just give me a clarification. South Lake Tahoe, we see that it's not going to have an expansion. Is it a real differentiation for South Lake Tahoe versus Lake Tahoe?
Well, Lake Tahoe itself refers to the lake, it looks like, from what
Mm-hmm.
I've researched. A lot of other towns go by their own name, like Incline Village, Dollar Point, Kings Beach, Tahoe Pines, Camp Richardson, Spring Creek, Rubicon Properties, Meeks Bay. They all have their own unique names. So South Lake Tahoe is its own unique in the sense that it is named after the lake.
And that's a real town. Like South Lake Tahoe, real town. We have real borders, and that's likely, or that's primarily what we're going to be seeing in Upland is the real borders.
Well, the neighborhood lines I can't verify because I'm not in love with them in terms of naming because they're not really akin to what you actually see in South Lake Tahoe. But they kind of, I actually couldn't find these lines. Usually, sometimes I'm able to find them under real estate names, but they're not under real estate names either. So it should be interesting to see how this pans out in terms of neighborhood collections.
Well, we'll keep our eyes out. We'll keep our eyes out. We're in the middle of the show. Good to see you. But we're in the middle of the show as of right now. And yeah, as far as that's concerned, Manana, when we are looking at it, of course, we'll get into some of the speculation with those lines and those areas and the street names as we get going. So, I know you don't give away all your little jewels, but I know you sneak some of them in here. With the city launch, with it being a little bit of a different entry here, cars, specifically to travel in, there's going to be launch pad properties to get in. Obviously, our initial access to get into the city, to get into those properties, and again, serving as these parking areas while we're waiting to be able to mint. And pretty clear here, I think. Hopefully clear to everybody. When you're traveling in, your car gets there, you park it, and then you're back into Block Explorer mode, right, Banana?
Right. I also want to mention about the jump off properties.
Yeah,
They
sure.
are placed pretty nicely apart. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when we saw the jump off properties in Tokyo, in Minamoto, for example. No, I'm sorry, Minato. My bad,
Minato.
wrong name. They were really clustered together to the south, which is kind of like not the greatest in my opinion. I know you could have jumped off from Ibisu, for example, but it left a lot of like your the northeastern portion of the release to be floated into, which I didn't love. However, this time around, the three jump up properties are pretty spread out as much as they could be. One of them, I actually have them up right now. One of them looks to be in either Pioneer Ski Run or Lakeview Heights. Probably Pioneer Ski Run. I think that's where one of them is. One of them looks to be about Tahoe Island, I want to say. Yeah, it looks like
In the area where it lines up.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. I'd say probably. Actually, no, I'm sorry, not Tahoe Island. No, it's a little east. It's actually in Al Tahoe, I'd say.
Hmm?
And then the other one looks to be in Glenwood.
I'm glad you put it in there because we're looking here. Obviously, if you're on YouTube, keeping the eye out. In the announcement, we do have the lines of where Upwind is calling those neighborhood cuts, those neighborhood lines, the way they have gone and named them here. We said there's your Glenwood, what you were referring to.
Right.
So we do see that all laid out, pretty easy to see there. And again, the key thing here as we take a look, the three properties that you were referring to,
they actually do have them up there. I didn't realize they actually had the neighborhoods.
I was showing it off. Look at this, boo boo. You see it?
My bad.
No, you're good. That's why we share the screen, make it easy for people to take a look at it. And I'm glad you did. I'm glad you went over it. But 835 Sonoma Ave, El Tahoe. We do have 1035 Echo Road. And again, it tells you the neighborhood, Pioneer Ski Run, and then 1423 Rancho Way. And again, that's in Glenwood. And again, kudos to Upland for letting you know what neighborhood you're going to be in, which they haven't ever done previously. I mean, it's kind of like getting into Queens.
Actually, that's also not correct. They did it for Minato.
They did for broken up the neighbors. Okay,
they did for Minato.
Yeah.
It's a new trend, though. It is a new trend. Which I do like because I think it's important that way you know where you're going. Because when you're looking up the property addresses, especially when these neighborhoods don't exactly exist in real life, there's no such thing as Pioneer Ski Run or Tourist Court or Tahoe Meadows or Lakeside Park. Like the only real ones I've seen online are pretty much Ala Tahoe and Tahoe Keys. And like Gardner Mountain is a thing, but it's not that location specifically, I've noticed. So like about half of these are a bit hit or miss.
I gotcha. Yeah, and again, since they told us where we're going, obviously it gives you a little bit of a plan to plan where you want to do jumping off. Keep it in mind that once you're out of the car, once you're out of the vehicle, once you've disembarked, you're going to float around the city here theoretically. Grand opening of South Lake Tahoe scheduled for this Thursday the 7th at 9 a.m. PT. We didn't have the jump properties open to travel into just yet. We're waiting to see when they happen. And the note here is these properties will open up for travel in the next 24 hours. This announcement happened earlier today, so keep your eyes out. I expect it by noon tomorrow, noon PT anyways. 12 PT tomorrow being Wednesday. Again, 12 p.m. PT Wednesday with the idea that we're going to have at 9 a.m. PT. That's when the actual release of the city is going to be. So we know to keep our eyes out. We know we will be able to send in plus or minus 24 hours before the city mint. Grand opening of South Lake Tahoe is scheduled again for the 7th at 9 a.m. PT. The full city is available all at once. All at launch, about 13,000 properties, 19 total neighborhoods, and there's approximately 13 of those properties going to be reserved for FSA. And can I say what's interesting here, Banana?
Of course.
Did you see what's interesting about 13% FSA?
Oh, it's about 1,300.
Yeah, well, here's what's interesting. Yeah. You have to still be in FSA status, have a net worth under 100,000 UPIX. Right now, right now you can't ride in someone else's car. So you have to have an 80,000 UPIX car and be worth 100,000 UPIX as far as Upwind's concerned. Again, that car doesn't count towards your net worth. I totally get that, but how do you have a net worth under 100,000 or stay under 100,000 and then magically have an 80,000 UPIX to burn to buy that car? So
I think it's going to end up being. I think people are going to take advantage of the idea of the FSA agent strategy.
Oh,
I think that's definitely going to end up happening.
Yeah, and I do think that people are going to lend their cars. People are going to get people in there. I'm sure it's going to happen. I know people are going to get in there and mint those FSAs. I'm not concerned, or I'm not going to be surprised that it happens. But from the Upland side, when you do the math, it's like, are you really serving FSAs at that point, or are you encouraging people to bring their cousins in, or their third?
Guys, my 10 cats play. Oh my god.
Yeah, or their 10 cats. Exactly,
My
Banana.
10
Their 10
cats
cats.
really want to play, guys.
Exactly.
Just let me give them like 5 million upics each, please. Thank you.
Because you're not going to be a true FSA at this point in the game and be able to get into that city.
Right.
Unless somebody helps you out and gives you a car. And if they do, you're probably minting on their behalf.
Absolutely.
All right. So, yeah. I'm on the same page. I'll take it. Tahoe marks the first resort town. I like that Upland's putting this, right? Previously, we've said these are, centers of city or centers of commerce, or there's a reason why we're getting this city. Like we had some cities that we've gotten specifically so we can have it in NFLPA Stadium. And now we're just saying resort towns. And I like this because if we set resort towns as a travel in city, we're saying there's a reason why we don't have a train or a plane or a bus. And these are cities that in the real world may not have a train or a plane. Sometimes,
not to be the spoiler of bad news, but Lake Tahoe Airport's right outside the borders.
Shh, quiet.
Not to be that guy.
But that's why it's South Tahoe. South Tahoe. No airport in South Tahoe. But yes, they could have given you an airport, but by Upland's rules, you have to be a certain size to get an airport, right? We're agreed that Upland still follows that rule to some degree.
If you want to, we can still follow that rule. Technically, by their new guidelines, technically no. But
until they change their mind,
I do like that they made this a car exclusive city.
Yeah.
Considering that we just got the FSA pretty much exclusive city, so Trent and Stockton, I think this was a good bone to throw at the larger players who own cars.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, all right, they're a little exclusive little things, nice little resort town. It's got a lot of skiing. It's got condos. It's got mansions. It's got nice little homes. It's got a nice little strip. It's got a lot of stuff going for it.
Give a use case for cars. I mean, that's what this is. That's what the race series that's going on right now is. This idea that let's give a reason to have cars. And I think people are waiting for it. And this is a way, if you don't like to race, to at least have some small modicum of a use case of your car, and that's continuing to grow. There's more reasons to travel between cities, I'm sure, and we'll keep watching this happen. So Tahoe marks the first resort side, and Upland does put this in here with a resort town. It will be on the higher side of prices for UPX per UP2. Don't expect them to match what we just saw in Stockton. Don't expect them to match what we just saw in Trenton.
I also want people to understand that when they say more pricey, don't expect like Doug and Zaka 5,000 up extra up squared.
Oh yeah,
that's not what they mean. The average home price in South Lake Tahoe is about 1.6 million. So I would expect closer to London, where you saw like 500 to 2,000 up extra up squared on a grand scheme.
Yeah,
that would be the price you're aiming for. And like all the properties are pretty uniform in size. Like they look like to me like a lot of them are like 50 to 100. Obviously, you have your bigger ones. You have like your bigger cuts of land. You got your smaller condos. Those definitely exist. But 50 to 100 up squared is probably what you're gonna probably aim for. I think the only place that has them that are usually bigger on average is Tahoe Keys. It's probably where they're a lot bigger because the property cuts include the land around the water. That is something to keep in mind. When you're looking at Google Maps, you're only seeing about half the property. And when you see it where the property line does extend into the water, we've seen where Upland will let you buy that portion of the property as well. They don't just cut it at where the land ends. So keep that in mind when you're going to buy in Tahoe Keys.
I think what's interesting about what you just brought up is we're going to get to it, but the idea of water properties is kind of big here. Upland has kind of, put in a little something on those water properties. So we'll sneak on that as we get through here. Again, 100% is going to open up all at once. We talked about this being a little more expensive city, so it's not going to be those low cents we've seen elsewhere. 15 is the minimum. 75 is going to be the max, and 30 is going to be the default for our UPX send fee, official send fees. No airport, no train terminal, 9 total collections. Total number of neighborhoods are 19. About 13% is going to be FSA. It's officially going to be a tier 3 treasure hunt. And what's important here, because we don't have an expansion, is it's going to be a tier 3 treasure hunt, which guess what, Banana?
What does that mean?
It puts it at a higher treasure hunt than some tier 1 cities that released just part of them. Isn't that hilarious?
Hilarious. Goodness.
And you know what's hilarious about it? What's hilarious about it is for 13,000 properties, you get yourself a tier 3. For almost 100,000 properties, you get yourself a tier 4.
Now, you know why you know why the reason is, right?
Yeah, there's a reason why they're saying your treasure hunt values. We've had this conversation, or I've had this conversation with other people in the past. This idea that when they set the treasure hunting, they do look at UPX per UP2. They're supposed to anyways, plus the number of properties, plus the size of properties, and they're supposed to take all of those things into account. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a certain city being a higher tier because the prices of the properties themselves are higher to begin with. Right? Makes sense?
Right.
Yeah. So I've got no qualms with it. It's just funny, right? It's funny to say, okay, so this other city is a tier 1 because of the size. It's only halfway minted or a third minted or less. So we only get a tier 4. So, just an interesting thing to note here on the side, which means maybe it's going to be a good place to get treasure hunting started. Just a thought. 0 landmarks going to be in the South Lake Tahoe city. Minimum price for non-FSAs, 7,032 UPX. You know what I like about this, Banana?
What do you like about it?
This time, it looks like they actually gave us the lowest cost property. Do you remember what happened before?
Oh, yeah. Like the lowest, 25% average. Oh, my goodness. It looks so pricey.
But they didn't quite give that to us, right? They didn't give us the full details.
Now, unfortunately, you and I both know that people are going to still complain. Oh my God, there's only one 7,000 property, and the next one's 10. That was clickbait. Oh no. Oh,
I
mean, Upland? Look, I gotta be honest. I prefer this way anyway because I know what you mean. Yeah. But I'm prepared to watch someone complain about it. Which it's gonna be funny to watch.
People always complain.
This argument's gonna work out a lot less in their favor than the first time.
Oh yeah, there's only one. Well, they didn't tell you there's 40. But maybe there are. Who knows? We don't know that. So
now I will say there probably will be quite a few because there's one fun little fact about South Lake Tahoe. You remember how Santa Clara had those weird little condo properties that were 10 up squared?
We got a bunch of those.
We got a crap ton of those. There's easily probably a couple hundred.
I'm sure. So we'll probably have a bunch of those lower properties, and then once those are minted out, you're going to be quite a bit higher, like we've seen in other cities as well. We saw that in Nashville as well, where there was a handful of small properties, but then a lot of the other ones were 50 or 70 up squares. So once you're out of those small properties, you jump quite a bit. You double the size or triple the size. So we'll see that at the same way around here. 1,321,000 UPX. I've had cities I've gone into with that much UPX. It's not this time around. So that's
I used to be able to get that much UPX sometimes. I remember when I used to be able to roll into a city of 1 million.
UPX bank robbery?
Yeah, I shake people down a little bit.
That's a good way, Hey, calling my dues, calling all of my favors and all of my back.
I called in my favors for the last release. I don't think I can call them in again. I kind of already exhausted that one.
You got to build them back up. And then back at this beautiful picture showing our neighborhood lines. So this is what we're going to expect. We will see the city again 24 hours ahead is what we expect to get those 3 send properties. So expect tomorrow sometime that to happen. And then we're going to be able to get in there, start floating around, do all the fun things. But that is what we're going to look at. There are our neighborhoods if we want to see any idea of shape. Obviously, if you are not watching on YouTube, please feel free to go take a look at the announcement. It is in there. And then jumping back in here for the collection reveal, we're in vanilla, Banana.
Oh, my God, vanilla ice cream.
There we go. So Thursday, the 14th of March, 9 a.m. PT. We got an entire week of speculation week, which, It works. It works. It's a good time for people to buy and sell and trade and swap and speculate. And we'll be obviously reviewing the collections on the 14th at 9 a.m. PT. We always see that, any property that's not minted, it's in a collection. We have the collection modifiers that are applied depending on what the level of collection is. The reveal, same thing as we've seen 100 times. Maybe not 100, but probably 35 times. We have the collection properties get locked, the unminted ones. We have the repricing done. They come back in the market. They obviously lock them before the collection reveal. It works. It makes sense. I hope they keep it because it does work. Obviously, collections reveal at 9 a.m. PT with the collection key going out to prove these were real collections from the start, and they did Upland and make them up as they went along. Unminted properties that match the announced collections will be repriced and put back on the market around 9:30 a.m. Those unminted properties with the repricing go back on the market. As a reminder, if we see signs of suboptimal performance, we will take immediate action and lock any unminted properties. If required, this may be followed with a brief maintenance period. We haven't had one of those for a while.
They've done a pretty good job of making sure we don't need them anymore, which is really nice. But I'm glad that they still are ready to do it if they have to.
Just keep in mind it's a small city, so sometimes we see a little bit of compression there. Again, these are my fingers crossed for a reason. I want everything to go well. When we get pushed into these really small areas and it's everybody at once, that's when we tend to have the biggest issues with the congestion. Waterfront Wonder giveaway. Let's do this. Hey, you want to take this away? This is a fun one.
All right, so to celebrate this, we shall reserve several waterfront properties for a special giveaway, rewarding those fortunate players during this minting event. Players whose minting corresponds with the numerical values of the letters that spell out Tahoe will have the chance to win one of these exceptional properties. The following mints will win: T 20th mint, A 1st mint, H 8th mint, O 15th mint, and E 5th mint. Additionally, the players who mint the highest number of Tahoe's properties within the first 2 hours of the city's release will be rewarded with a waterfront property. Now, I know some people are mentioning how this was a hint at a waterfront collection. I'm going to say it's quite the opposite.
No.
Because, fun fact, when have we known Upland to give players collection properties? If anyone's been to Genesis Week 2 years in a row, you know that both years your free property was indeed not a collection, unless you were very lucky to get like
there was some sprinkle there, but not a neighborhood collection.
There was about 2 properties that were collections last year. So I will say, be careful.
Yeah, be careful on speculating. But again, waterfront properties,
you can't go wrong with waterfront. There aren't. I will say there are not that many waterfront. You have your waterfronts in like the Keys. Don't forget that. However, outside the Keys, you only have waterfront here and there.
Yeah,
there's only, I don't know, like about maybe 100 outside of the Keys.
And you were mentioning that sometimes Upland cuts the water into those property cuts occasionally, so that might be a way of Upland taking those properties and treating them a little differently. Who knows?
Actually, no, I can show you the property cuts that we're gonna see. You want to see them?
Sure. I'd love to see them.
Share screen.
Are you gonna take over share screen? Yeah, take it over.
Yoink. Hold on. I want that.
You should have permission.
Okay, cool.
All right, here we go.
Is it showing South Lake Tahoe? What do you see?
Well, take a look. What do you see?
Oh, perfect. That's right. Cool. Yeah. So, I love my little regrid site. Love this website. So good. Anything for the United States, it does me very well. It tells me all the property parcels that exist. Usually Upland sometimes omits a couple of them because they don't fit into the game board correctly. But for the most part, this is what we're going to see. This is South Lake Tahoe for everyone. You have the Tahoe Valley, Tahoe Village, Tahoe Keys, El Tahoe. You got Bijou. You got those new neighborhoods they made up over here. You got, I don't know, what's the one that's over here? The, not Emerald. There was another name they called it. But you have a bunch of these neighborhoods. And you kind of see the property sizes are pretty uniform. But you see a lot of these little condos. There's a little bit of condos a little everywhere. I can't guarantee they're going to still be there. I feel like some of them aren't going to be there, just knowing how Upland usually runs it.
Yeah, Upland does sometimes recut those.
Yeah, but if you look at what we see in the Keys,
look at those.
Just about all the water is claimed.
Yeah. I
So
got you.
don't expect to see water in between the property tiles.
I hear you.
Because people are like, where's the water I paid for? It's there. You just won't see it. But this is why I mention it. These property cuts are a lot bigger than what you're seeing over here. And you can see that from far away. You can easily see that these are a lot bigger. Like you have these tiny ones down here. This is a trailer park, I believe, over here.
Well, that's an interesting setup, though. Look at that.
It's very interesting. I know someone was mentioning putting a racetrack here.
It's pretty cool. Depending on how the streets are drawn, but yeah, looks good.
I mean, the streets aren't that bad. You can draw some fun looking shapes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So 9 collections. I'm assuming we're gonna have one collection that's gonna be your standard, lovely South Lake Tahoe. 3 properties, standard 1.1 multiplier. Oh my god.
1.1, 1.25, 1.3, man.
1.20. Oh my god. No, I don't know. I don't know what amount they're gonna do. Probably on the higher end because there's only 13,000 properties.
Yeah.
I'm expecting all neighborhood and street collections to fit limited or above because we don't have big neighborhoods to work with. The biggest neighborhood is like Lake Tahoe, and that's probably maybe 2,000 properties max.
That's a limited. Yeah,
that's a limited.
Yeah.
So like you don't have the big neighborhoods. You have a lot of small neighborhoods, but just because it's small doesn't mean it's collection.
Absolutely. And just because it's actually a nice neighborhood doesn't mean it's a collection.
Right. Just because I'm saying it could be a collection doesn't mean it's a collection because I am not financial advice.
There you go.
A 19-year-old from New York. I know little more than nothing. So,
about the snowy mountain town.
Snowy summer hideaway that you can go to and pay 1.6 million to buy a nice little house.
Yeah.
However, just because I do know a little something because I do research. Obviously, I'm going to say there's probably going to be a lot more of a chance of neighborhood collections. I think that's a given considering they cut it into 19 neighborhoods. But I definitely think we have a couple of streets here that will be good. And that I would say there's one main artery. You have this lovely little street that is called Lake Tahoe Avenue, I think. Lake Tahoe Avenue, I believe it's called. It's a beautiful street, runs the entire city. I think it's just about a guarantee. It's gonna be a collection. It's got casinos, it's got hotels, it's got restaurants. It's the main drag. It's kind of like the Vegas Strip of.
It's got money, Banana. It's got some money.
It's got money.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that's gonna be a guaranteed collection. However, that still leaves
no guarantees. No guarantees, Banana.
No guarantees. However, 99.99% sure because I mean, if they don't do it, then I don't know what else they would do. That's kind of like the closest I can get to a guarantee for anyone to run for that street.
They might just want to, make you upset. You don't know. It's possible.
I mean, I won't be upset. I'm on a plane during the mint. I don't know if I'm going to be able to mint. So
I think there's that too.
I'm going to have to see if I can buy Wi-Fi on my flight. But
speaking of, hey, we're going to do a side here. Did you get them tickets yet, buddy? You get them tickets?
Oh, for Genesis Week? Not yet.
Oh yeah. Not yet? Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. It's big expensive for my blood right now.
We can keep on this Tahoe, but Genesis Week, it's still there, buddy. It's still there.
Genesis Week.
All right. So the Mint Masters is something we've had before. I like this Tahoe game because it kind of plays into that Mint Masters. I've said that before where the Mint Masters is fun, but it's like first, or first and most, whatever first, most, biggest, smallest. So it's not as much like there's not as much randomness to it. The first 3 people, bam, 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 bam. The 5th hit, but now the 20th is included, but the 19th's not, the 17th's not, the 18th's not. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that it's more a little bit of randomality, a little bit of shake the dice and toss them. Because I can't plan to be 20th. It's going to be something that happens, and I have a potential if I'm trying to mint early that I might get one of those waterfront properties, which would be pretty cool.
Very exciting stuff right there.
But the rest of the mint badges are still there. You got the little tiny property. You've got the big property badges. You get the badges for minting the earliest ones and minting the most. So again, the superlatives, the old high score for superlatives of our minting is what we're going to see.
Very exciting.
Oh yeah.
No, I just got a fun alert from the game. I have 11 and a half hours before I make it to LA.
What are you doing? Driving, huh? Driving. That'll do it.
Driving. Well, 'cause I only have one car and it was in Brooklyn, so I had to drive. I have to drive. I have to do across the country.
Well, now's the time to do it. Obviously, we've got a day and a half left. So if you got to move the car now. Get it over there. Get it to the West Coast.
We're all the way in PA so far. We're making our way downtown, walking fast.
Exclusive South Tahoe Block Explorer sale, 30,000 UPX. You can buy that 30,000 UPX for $30 and you can get yourself a little kicker. That kicker is going to be this Block Explorer. Special promotion, complimentary Tahoe. I said Toho. Tahoe themed Block Explorer. Registration starts the 5th. Oh my gosh, that was today. The 5th at 8 a.m. PT. That sale's tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT. The registration ends at 8 a.m. PT tomorrow. So get registered an hour before sale. See where you are on the line.
I will say they're not doing a burn event this time, right? It's just you get the 3 Block Explorers if you want them.
It looks like it. So buy the UPX, get a Block Explorer as a bonus. There's no noted burn event. It's just a backpack. It's not bad. A trail marker.
I like the South Lake Tahoe one, the one that had like the 2 baobab trees and the mansion.
Yeah,
that one's cute.
Yeah. So and then South Lake Tahoe. I like the trees, and I don't think those are baobab. I think those are just upland being simplistic with it.
I know, but they to me they look like baobab.
They do, but I mean, like it's minimal pixel, it's that voxel style, right? Build your exclusive Lake Tahoe ranch house. Again, we're doing this. We talked about the value of these unique structures, so we can get to our 30, so we get another badge, and just so we have a little bit of variety in the game. The unique structure embodies the serene getaway essence of Tahoe. Oh yeah. Adding to a distinct architectural feature to the upland landscape, players will have until Monday, the 11th of March, 9 a.m. PT, to initiate construction of this structure. This is an opportunity you don't want to miss, offering a chance to enhance your upland experience with a touch of Tahoe's tranquil charm. Look at that.
I would say, as much as I would have liked a more unique structure, I do like that they kept it square. And they kept it simple where you can fit it on a lot of properties. Because I would have liked something a little more unique. But I think at the end of the day, I can't really complain too much because, they made it look really good. It is a cute looking asset.
Yeah. It's like a modified A-frame, It's the way they peak the roof. It's kind of fun.
I do love this, though.
This one here, the pass.
Now, it also makes me wonder something. So... This has a smaller footprint than the
interesting, right? Yeah, it looks to be, yeah.
And it looks like, can you scroll back up? It looks a lot smaller, actually. That's a lot smaller of a property.
It looks to be. It looks
again,
like scaling, right?
I'm curious how small that is because of the amount of condos we have in this release. Yeah. I am wondering if those are going to count as properties you can win, which I gotta be honest, I kind of want a condo property because that means it's cheap.
That's kind of interesting though. Look at that structure, with the number of floors they're giving us. It does look like a condo. It looks like a
and it's funny, I don't think South Lake Tahoe would allow for that to be zoned, which is the funniest part of that.
Well, how tall it is?
Yeah, there's no way they're allowing that.
Funny. 15% that you are going to get a collection if you buy the pass. 80% chance you get to build this structure. You have a limited amount of time to build that structure, and obviously you have to buy or have to have a property from this original pass drop. Does not have to buy a pass originally, but it has to be one of the properties that was reserved in the pass drop to get it. These passes are tradable. There's a snapshot on the 15th of March at 9 between 9 and 10 a.m. PT. They don't tell you exactly when, but sometime then for pass holders. And then they're going to determine whoever's holding on the passes, who gets which of those 1,000 properties that are reserved. And again, those are reserved up front. You ready for the interesting thing about 1,000 properties? How many is the total amount?
1,000.
How many is the total amount of properties in all of South?
Oh, sorry, 13,000. My bad.
No, you're good. So you're taking about 8.5%, 9%, and you're going, we're going to just lock these up. So we're not going to get 13 properties.
The city they're locking.
We're not getting 13,000 properties. We're getting 12,000 properties.
Now, I
14,000
also
over
understand there is a bit of a meta strategy with this.
Tell me about it.
So, if they're locking 1,000 properties and only 15% of properties are being locked, could you theoretically look to see what neighborhoods have not many locked properties?
For a neighborhood collection, it's possible. It's possible.
They've been leaning into the neighborhood collections with these. They don't. I mean, we only had one city because like Tokyo doesn't have 3 collections, but we had a lot more neighborhood collections. They gave a lot more of the limited neighborhood collections out. We noticed that.
But
so
in Miami, though, you got to be careful, right? In Miami, they distributed these pass properties all over the place. They were, they weren't in every single neighborhood, but they were in a lot of neighborhoods. They were in some good areas. They were in a lot of crappy areas. They were in some
but also
areas.
you can notice that. All right, so let's say you buy your pass and you look the day of minting. Okay, let's say these 4 neighborhoods have not many locked properties. We can maybe say these are most likely. Can we guarantee? No, because there was a couple neighborhoods people were thinking about that still didn't hit. But now you have a good idea of what could be.
If they're not there, if they're not available for minting, if they're just sitting there.
For example, if you see 200 properties
in
one that are blocked out in this one neighborhood, obviously it's not going to be it. Even if you see 50, I feel like that's a bit much. I think you have to be within like 5 to like 30 to be a good range to guesstimate that it could be. Obviously, it depends on how big the neighborhood is. Like if the neighborhood only has 30 properties, you don't want the entire neighborhood to be locked.
You want the punchline? What if there's a bunch of hidden gems in there and you don't know that they actually aren't going to mint at all? We don't know. But yeah, definitely something to watch out for. It's good strategy. It sounds like, but of course we don't. It's never foolproof. There are lots of possibilities there. Again, unknown minted properties. Yeah, we'll look at that. Right, the Tahoe small Tahoe townhouse. I like that. That's what they chose to call it, as opposed to the Tahoe small townhouse or anything else. Small Tahoe townhouse. That is going to be something that you get to mint up until March 18th at 9 a.m. PT. You can start minting once those properties are mintable. So that's easy enough. Again, if you don't mint by the 18th at 9 a.m. PT, guess what happens? They open up for the public again.
Oh my goodness.
Following the deadline, any unminted properties will be open for public minting with the unique townhouse option available for additional 24 hours. So if you pick up a bunch of those structures, a bunch of those properties, and you can put some of those structures on, the deadline to construct the unique building is the 19th of March at 9 a.m. PT. So keep those in mind. Past details, 1,000 of those available. We said $4.99. They are for sale on the 6th of March. That's tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT. The registration is already underway, so go take a look and register if you choose to do so. And look at that.
You.
Yeah, you get some rocks, you get some water. It's
I thought those were people's heads at first.
What'd you think it was? Was it water and there's a bunch of people just popping their heads out?
Yeah, I thought they were
synchronized swimming style.
Yeah.
These passes include a reservation to mint the property. They do not include the UPX required to mint that property. Important distinction. We've done a few of these already, but important distinction for people to keep in mind. And otherwise, you get to hold on to this pass even after the snapshot. It is your souvenir for many years to come. Hopefully, there's a reason. Hopefully, there's a rhyme to reason. You can collect them all. Put them on a lanyard, and Upland gives you a cookie. I don't know. I'll take a cookie.
A cookie.
Give me a little something. I don't need something big. I don't need a badge, but give me an event. Give me an event. Give me a collector's event, and then give me a little jump start in that collector's event. So that's what we've got. So you already kind of gave us some little breadcrumbs around the way. Talk a little bit about the guide. I know you already put it together. How did you do it? Did you put it together in the last 5 minutes? Did you see that flash last week where South Tahoe was travelable, or it gave it to you as a potential address to drive into? How did you come up with when was the right time to make South Tahoe?
Oh, so I was hoping I had an extra week because I'm not going to be in the country starting Thursday. So I was really hoping that I'd have an extra week, but I didn't get that. So during my classes today, I made the guide.
So did you didn't start the guide like a week ago?
Until like
Okay.
I didn't start it until about 10:30 this morning.
Well, I'm going to talk to your teachers about that, sir.
I mean, well, to be fair, I was doing this and participating in class, so we're fine.
Multitasking.
And then I did it while I was at work, and I finished it at work, and I had my coworker proofreading. She's like, "Oh, it looks cute. What is this for?" I'm like, "Oh, it's for my crypto game." And she's like, "What? You're in that?" And I've told her about it. She's like, "What is that?"
You like Bitcoin 70K? So just go do something else. Go knit in the corner. But yeah.
So like I did it today. Do I think it's my favorite guide? No, because I had to use a template from an older city release with it. It's the same template I used
to stitch it together.
Sao Paulo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was on a time. Because like I would have loved to get like a whole new like cover, but the cover is like exactly the same of what I've done in the past.
Well, they didn't give us much time here. You know, this was. Oh yeah, by the way, 2 days. You ready? That's what it was. But to my point I was making before, they did kind of give you the little hint. A couple players did bring it to my attention that South Lake Tahoe showed up in the travelable directions last week. Did you see that? Did you take that as a hint?
I did see it, but I took it as a hint, but I was hoping that we had a little longer.
And agreed. That's what I told people. It was one of my things is when I thought
we'd see it at the end of the season. I didn't think we'd see it now.
Do you remember that Stockton got turned on months ago, or it showed up months ago?
It was like almost last year.
Yeah, it was almost last year.
And like I remember when they leaked Bronx, and they took 6 months for them to release it. I was waiting for like I was like, oh, we got a month.
No. Do you remember Kansas City? We when the city tried to mint 15 times and then it wasn't actually minted.
Oh my god! The disco, right? The 5 attempts, and I made like 500K, and then I blew it all on garbage props in Kansas City.
Yeah, I made over 500K. It was a little city called Rutherford.
Yeah, don't rub it in because I really regret not.
Oh, and I still had time to go to Kansas City as well.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what? What if I just like chop off your hands real quick?
Well, you know what if we say this? You've done amazing when we have these city releases. You shoot at the right areas. You prioritize. You put your strategy out. You know the areas you want to go and do, and you typically do pretty well. Not only in the making a strategy, but what you are actually able to mint. So there's a kudos for you. There's something you can be happy for. You don't have to cut off all my fingers. And
you sure.
And you highlight some of that decision making and some of that research by putting a guide out. Tell me a little bit more about it and what people can do if they so choose.
Right. So my guide, every time we do city release, I try to make a minting guide. These minting guides give you a little bit of information about where you could go, give you a little bit of disclaimer, of course. I tell you what each type of collection really represents and what you can find in each type of collection. And I give you a little rundown of each speculation, about a paragraph of like what the collection's about. That way you kind of get a nice little rounded idea of, all right, if I buy here, what am I buying? Because what's the point of buying something if you don't know what you're buying? So I give you a little bit of information. And at the end of the day, I give you the choice of where you want to go, but I give you a couple ideas. I put about, I think, 10 collection speculations in this in this city release. So got 10 options. You don't have to go for all of them because it's not easy to go for all of them, but it gives you some locations to look into on your own.
And how many guarantees do you have, Banana?
I have exactly one. I can tell you right now, the guarantee is going to be that you can put them in your newbie collection.
Wow!
I can guarantee that.
If you get 5, you can get City Pro, man.
Oh my god!
King of the Street.
That's limited. Oh my god!
Yeah. I mean, we're probably gonna have a city collection. Yay!
Oh my god!
That's exactly
right there.
That's exactly what your guarantees are, right? But you do a good job with the research. You have a good history on these, with the caveat that Upland does what Upland wants to do. Your research has to do with what you can find on the open world, and Upland's research has to do with what they choose to research. I mean, if it's Tuesday and there's a dartboards out there,
you never know. Could be the collection could be places Dirk has slept in an Airbnb in South.
I've been waiting for that collection for the longest time, man.
I know, right?
You never know. I wanted that in Berlin. I was like, these are all places where Dirk
partied in his 20s.
Yeah, when Dirk partied in his 20s, or his favorite place to get a sandwich, or whatever the case was. But
every apartment Dirk lived in while he was creating the idea of Upland with it on.
I mean, keep in mind here, we're kind of expanding our California universe here, and San Francisco is where Upland is headquartered. Maybe, who knows? Maybe the one staff member had a wild weekend and partied in 10 different places, and that becomes an ultra rare collection. We don't know.
I will say it does make me excited. I kind of almost hope that like this opens the floodgate for us to see like Hoboken and Jersey City as a car city. Because although we do have like good transportation there, you can also just
that was a Hoboken yawn. Yeah. We can have Hoboken for you, just for you,
just for me. And me, Jersey City also for Wishful, because I know I'm not the only one who wants that little bit of Jersey. But
Atlantic, Atlantic City, maybe a little bit of a cesspool, but
Atlantic City would be nice.
Yeah.
Also, one more thing. I do sell the guide for USD and UpX. I take UpX through the game, obviously, because it's UpX. You can send it to my in-game name, HumanSim, HUMANSIM, 15,000 UpX, and I will gladly send it to you through Discord. It is through a link, so do with it what you want. You can look at it, peruse it, be like, oh my god, look at that, it's so pretty. But all you can do is for my Patreon. You can DM me more info about that, because most people don't pay through USD. They'd rather the UpX. So I always promote that more often. But if you want to spend USD, go for it. Just let me know. But my DMs are always open. I have a big team behind it, such as Goldsmith, who helps proofread my guides. He's a lovely lad. That's why I'm always on his show, because he helps me out. So he scratches my back, so I scratch his. And if you want more information, you can find it in our community projects, contests, and tools. I will be putting a beautiful little link to my last message, because I'm not going to post twice, because that's not nice. Because why would I do that? That wouldn't.
Community content, contests, and tools is a great place to put it. I know you sneak it over there occasionally. If you want to send the one and only Banana a DM, I'm sure you said your bananagrams are open.
Do you want to just one thing? Agency has a really good point. If Bourbon Street wasn't there, this is nothing to guarantee, and I think that is very true about the Lake Tahoe Boulevard. I do not blame you for that sentiment. That is very true. So
that 1% means it might not happen, right?
It could get Magmiled. It definitely has that possibility.
Bourbon Street, Magmile, a couple others.
London in itself, that was a myth.
The entire city, anything in the city, wrong collections.
I don't think anyone's been happy with London collections after from London. I genuinely believe that. I think they made people upset. Spaghetti. I think Wave 3 was the latest wave they did. Probably the one wave where people were like, all right, that makes sense. Yeah. I think that's the only wave they kind of did good on, in my opinion, in terms of like culture.
And again, I always like to put it out there whenever we're about to have a Vanilla City release. Dartboard. So Upland is going to do what they do. You do a great job with the research. The cool thing about the research, not only can it help you go and try to mint an area that may hit collection. Again, may hit collection, no guarantee. You can put a little history there, reasoning why you think it might hit collection. And again, if you're playing the game of Upland because you like geography, because you like learning a little bit about the places that we're going into and minting, it's also a way to get a little bit of connection with the area, with the city that we're entered into for minting, right?
Yep, and fun. I want to share a fun little thing about my little research I do.
Yeah.
I have so many little things I've done. I'm actually going to post an image for everyone in the Upland Cafe about how many different things I have from the past year and a half. That's not even all of them. I have cities I've planned out for the future. I have I'll be honest. I have Boston. I have Dallas. I have Lisbon. I had Miami for a year. I have future expansions of London. I'm pretty planned out. So I do take pride in this, because I find it really fascinating to learn about these cities, because not for until a couple years from now, I won't be able to afford to travel to all these cities. So hopefully that will change once I can afford it, which will be very exciting.
But you are going to find a way to get to Vegas on the 6th and the 7th of June, 2024.
I truly hope so.
Yeah. We'll see if
that would be very nice to be able to afford it.
Yeah. So, again, we have a city mint this coming Thursday, 9 a.m. PT. We expect travel to be available and open by car, of course, to travel into those launch pad properties starting tomorrow sometime in probably the middle of the day. So keep your eyes out. You get traveled in. Keep in mind, as you put the point out there, Banana, it can take a while to travel. If you're already on the West Coast, or even if you're not on the West Coast, think about getting to a place where it's going to be easier or quicker for you to travel in to South Lake Tahoe. So if you need to move on to the West Coast to get there in time, get there now. Do that travel now. Be ready. Otherwise, we're only going to have a 24-hour period, or even even less, potentially 18 hours to travel in. It's not going to work if you're halfway across the world, right?
Right.
All right. So
make sure you're ready. If you have your cars in Europe or Asia, I'm sorry.
You're done.
That's not.
Buy some more cars.
I do wish that they gave people a heads up though about that. That way they could stage them out, because people who had 3 cars all on one continent are kind of in a little bit of a rough situation.
I mean, you could buy more cars, but again, that's OpEx. That's cost.
I think you can swap them technically. I know that
equal value.
Right. You can also track the transactions. Like, hey, look, you did no functionality for this in the game, so we did a transaction to do what needed to get done, because frankly, people were blindsided by it. I love this feature. I think this is great, but due process and warning is always needed. I think that is important to note.
Do you think prices of Stockton properties will rise due to them being close to Lake Tahoe? Important thing to note, David. Stockton is very minimally minted right now. We're going to have a number of expansions to finish Stockton out. The rest of Stockton, or all of Stockton, is going to be overall primarily FSA. So I think that one thing or another, cranking the prices of properties up in Stockton has to be watched, because we have more and more properties to come into the game later, which will dilute the properties that are in Stockton.
Absolutely. I also think that I can't guarantee that they're going to lower the price. Increase the price. Because my thing is, like, we're going to be able to travel to South Lake Tahoe before minting starts, right? So why can't I just travel from LA, where I have one property already? Like, they're going to take longer? Yeah, but I can just leave earlier. And now you can't even argue, oh no, I missed the train. That's no longer an issue. You just got to leave early enough. You got to make sure you don't hit traffic.
Again, you've got essentially you're going to have close to 24 hours to travel in. You can travel in from San Francisco in 24 hours. You can travel in from LA in 24 hours. You can travel in from Fresno in 24 hours. So if you're on the West Coast, as long as you go and check sometime around noon PT tomorrow, you should be in good shape.
I am very excited for the implications this brings, because I would love to see some towns in Long Island to get some shine.
Those aren't resort towns.
Actually, we do have resort towns.
Oh, you do? I was making a Long Island joke.
How dare you?
Yes.
But yeah, Montauk technically, even though Montauk does have a train station.
Montauk's nice. Yeah, Montauk's nice.
One thing I think would be the best, it's actually the most similar that we have to South Lake Tahoe, would be the towns on Fire Island, such as Ocean Beach, Ocean Bay Park, Saltaire. You got Fair Harbor, Cherry Grove.
And
those would be the cities.
And Fire Island as a whole is a resort area.
It is a millionaire's playground. It really is.
So that could be fun. Absolutely. And again, this idea of opening them up is going to potentially say, travel by car. But here's the thing, buddy. Do you want to hear my speculation? I don't do this very much.
What's your speculation?
If we're going to get Fire Island, boats.
That would make the most sense. However, technically there is a bridge that connects Fire Island to the mainland. There is one single bridge.
Yeah.
It is.
But I want some boats. I want some boats.
I would love some boats. But I also would love myself some Fire Island, because I actually don't know if I would, because I'd probably be really upset when the things I think are significant wouldn't get picked for collections.
So I'm gonna get my car. I'm getting in my car right now. I'm putting my little, seatbelt on and get my driving gloves, and I'm waiting for that to open up so I can get sent over to South Lake Tahoe, which I'll be able to do sometime tomorrow. When you're getting ready, as far as we're concerned, this is the first time we're ever doing this. once you get into city, what's your strategy? You're gonna pop out of your car. You're gonna
see if I
stay
have
in your car.
Wi-Fi on the plane, and if I do have Wi-Fi on the plane, then I'm gonna pop out of my car and see what I can grab
and start floating.
Yeah,
or are you gonna wait till pop out until right before minting?
Well, because if you're in the city, then you can keep sending back to the property. I have enough money on hand where I can just buy.
Oh, that's right. 99 cents to buy sends. Why not? Right?
Yeah. I mean, that was probably the Upland's best money making strategy to let you buy sends. If they ever take that away, I might actually cry because I use it so often.
Yeah, you could burn 50 cents in a minting because, especially if you're trying to turn yourself, you send the same property 10 times, you don't drift the right way, you do it again.
I know it is a very nice luxury to have now,
for sure. And I'm glad to see it. So, looking forward to it. Again, strategies here. This is a different city than we've seen before. You have the opportunity of potentially, sitting in your car once you travel in before you actually disembark. So you have that disembark strategy that we've had in the past. Drift and float, flop around. Because we have these starting properties, we are able actually to send back to those properties to set the drifts because we can buy sends. You can buy extra sends if you need to try some more sends to get some more drifts in the right direction. And then ultimately, what do we got? It is a vanilla city. It is 12,000 properties are going to be available this coming Thursday. 1,000 are going to be reserved for people who bought the pass. And then from there, it's vanilla, baby. We've got some speculations. Do your own research. If you have a guide that you want to use, like the banana guide, like one that somebody else puts out, take it with a grain of salt. But they're great to take a look at. It's great to get more information, and it's your opportunity to, maybe get a little bit of a hint, and maybe do your own research, and maybe pick up some good collections along the way.
Hell yeah, get yourself some collections.
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much, Banana. What else do you got? What did I miss? What do you want to tell the world about?
I'm a banana. That's it. That's all I got. I'm a 19-year-old who got himself sucked into buying blue squares for 3 years straight, and it's crippling addiction.
Exactly on his 18th birthday.
Exactly. Yes, I've been 19 for 3 years, guys.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember David and Lisa's reaction to that. They're like, "What?
What? How?
It was a really funny day."
Just say I could grow facial hair since I was,
hey, you know
12,
what?
so it's okay.
You know what? Because I never KYC'd and lied, there was no issue. So.
Yeah, well, again, they've kind of gone back and forth on that. I think I'm happy. I don't think anyone's concerned.
I think it's fair game to let anyone play as long as you're not lying about who you are. But KYC, and I think that's totally valid.
KYC, naughty. Don't KYC under grandma.
You don't commit impersonation. Don't commit.
Yeah, that's a federal crime, international crime.
And actually, it would absolutely count that because you make a bank account technically it would tell you.
You do. So you are
absolutely be.
You are actually doing wire fraud if you do that.
Financial advice: do not commit tax. Do not commit tax evasion, and do not commit identity
wire fraud. That's wire fraud, man. Wire fraud. That's a federal international offense. Interpol knocks on your door, man. You don't want to deal with that. Knock. Who's it? It's the police. Open up. But we don't want that.
No, thank you. And then they say, no, we're going to come in anyway. And then you cry.
Right. All because we use grandma's ID.
Right.
Don't use grandma's ID. All right. So with that, you're excited about your flight on vacation. Have fun.
Thank you. I'm gonna miss you. Can I feel my luggage?
I'm pretty sure I invited you to come to Vegas with me, and you're still figuring out whether you can make that work or not, bud. So we'll see how that goes.
You're very sweet.
Yeah, but I've already farmed out that couch to 80 people, so it's gonna be tight. If you don't have a room,
if I can sleep on the mirror on the ceiling, that would be fine.
That'll work. So get some some tack up there, or use bubblegum works.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
I can just be a bat and hang on to it.
Whatever works. So I want to thank you again for jumping in tonight. We always have fun, Banana. You give some good information. I think you gave the name of a street that you said is a 99% chance, no guarantee, but 99% chance of being a collection. So keep your eyes out, guys. Good luck on minting here. And as always, I like to say, thank you so much for being here. With a quick note that if you're in the Discord Cafe, feel free to unmute your mics. Feel free to jump in, be part of the conversation. The floor is yours, and I think Banana will stay around for maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'll stick around for like 2 minutes.
All right, perfect. So we'll answer some questions. So thank you so much. I'm going to cut things out here on the YouTube. Caveat is if you are somebody who hangs around and jumps into the Upland Discord, meet us there. Banana will be there here momentarily.
Right, let me
Thank you so much.
Bye.